Renal. Crossing the street with a solemn step, he enters the town hall and passes from the visitor's sight. But 100 yards higher up, if the visitor continues his stroll, he will notice a house of quite imposing appearance, and through the gaps in an iron railing belonging to the house, some splendid gardens. Beyond, there is a line of horizon formed by the hills of Burgundy, which seem to have been created on purpose to delight the eye. This view makes the visitor forget the pestilential atmosphere of small financial interests which was beginning to stifle him. He is told that this house belongs to Monsieur de Renal. It is to the profits that he has made from his great nail factory that the mayor of Verrières is indebted for this fine freestone house which he has just finished building. His family, they say, is Spanish, old, and was or claims to have been established in the country long before Louis XIV conquered it. Since 1815, he has blushed at his connection with industry. 1815 made him mayor of Verrières. The retaining walls that support the various sections of this splendid garden, which in a succession of terraces runs down to the Doubs, are also a reward of Monsieur de Renal's ability as a dealer in iron. You must not for a moment expect to find in France those picturesque gardens which enclose the manufacturing towns of Germany, Leipzig, Frankfurt, Nuremberg, and the rest. In the Franche-Comté, the more walls a man builds, the more he makes his property bristle with stones piled one above another, the greater title he acquires to the respect of his neighbours. Monsieur de Renal's gardens, honeycombed with walls, are still further admired because he bought, for their weight in gold, certain minute scraps of ground which they cover. For instance, that sawmill, whose curious position in the bank of the Doubs struck you as you entered Verrières, and on which you noticed the name Sorel inscribed in huge letters on a board which overtops the roof, occupied, 6 years ago, the ground on which at this moment they are building the wall of the 4th terrace of Monsieur de Renal's gardens. For all his pride, the mayor was obliged to make many overtures to old Sorel, a dour and obstinate peasant. He was obliged to pay him in fine golden louis before he would consent to remove his mill elsewhere. As for the public lade which supplied power to the saw, Monsieur de Renal, thanks to the influence he wielded in Paris, obtained leave to divert it. This favour was conferred upon him after the elections. He gave Sorel 4 acres in exchange for one 500 yards lower down by the bank of the Doubs, and albeit this site was a great deal more advantageous for his trade in planks of firwood, Père Sorel, as they have begun to call him now that he is rich, contrived to screw out of the impatience and land-owning mania which animated his neighbour a sum of 6,000 francs. It is true that this arrangement was adversely criticized by the local wiseacres. On one occasion, it was a Sunday 4 years later, Monsieur de Renal, as he walked home from church in his mayoral attire, saw at a distance old Sorel, supported by his 3 sons, watching him with a smile. That smile cast a destroying ray of light into the mayor's soul. Ever since then, he has been thinking that he might have brought about the exchange at less cost to himself. To win popular esteem at Verrières, the essential thing is not to adopt, while still building plenty of walls, any plan of construction brought from Italy by those masons who in spring passed through the gorges of the Jura on their way to Paris. Such an innovation would earn the rash builder an undying reputation for wrong-headedness, and he would be lost forever among the sober and moderate folk who create reputations in the Franche-Comté. As a matter of fact, these sober folk wield there the most irritating form of despotism. It is owing to that vile word that residence in small towns is intolerable to anyone who has lived in that great republic which we call Paris. The tyranny of public opinion